Good Monday morning, everybody, and welcome to Arnie's Fantasy World of Sports. And first of all, great show, Lenny. Always great. Missed you Friday. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to fill in for you at 9 o'clock Friday morning. I think everything didn't fall apart totally, missed you, though, and I was glad to hear you back on this morning. What a weekend. What a Sunday. And you know how I like to jump in on Monday mornings, and the first thing I like to do is, where are we in the standings? And this morning I'm going to do it a little bit differently, okay? I got to keep you guys interested, right? Good morning to everybody in the chat room. Easy Kill, good morning. Good morning, Zelmo. Jim Ross, it's good to see all of you guys. And as we go through this show today, feel free to criticize, to add to give me something new to talk about, okay? We're going to go through the standings and talk about some players from yesterday and some guys that you may have on your fantasy team, some guys you may want to get on your fantasy teams. Let's start off, if you will, with the American League East, where yesterday, wow, you go to Cleveland, and the Yankees and Tribe were at it. Cleveland had won the first two in this set, and it looked like they were on their way yesterday. Bieber, the first couple of innings, he just looked lights out. And then all of a sudden, Brett Gardner, busted lip and all, homers in the third inning, and the Yankees get a lead. And then the Indians tie it in the ninth. The Yankees go ahead in the 10th, finally win 7-6. Back and forth kind of game, great game. Yankees win, and of course, when the Yankees win, you got to hear from John Sterling on Monday mornings, right?
Ball game over. Yankees win. Oh, Yankees win.
Great win yesterday. Chapman blew a save, but he gets a win. They salvaged the final game of that series. Cleveland, basically they've got to win some games, and we talked about this last week. So Yankees win yesterday. So did Tampa Bay. And, over the weekend, Tampa, I go through home records, road records with you. Tampa at home, they're 17-14. After this weekend, they are 23-10 on the road. Okay, just so you know, that's the best road record in the American League. They invade Fenway Park in Boston over the weekend, right? And they win 2 out of 3 in Boston. They win yesterday 6-1. Saturday, the pitching hero was Yonny Chirinos. And Yonny Chirinos, I checked this morning, and look at your league, Yahoo, or whatever league you're in, okay, because it matters. But in the ESPN leagues that I play primarily in, he's only owned in 42% of the leagues. Yonny Chirinos is 7-2. 55 strikeouts, a 2.87 ERA, a 0.90 whip. And on Saturday against Boston, he was dealing. I'm telling you, he threw 8 innings. He was the starter. He was almost the closer, right? He threw 8 innings, only gave up 2 hits, okay? 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, and just absolutely dominated the Red Sox on Saturday. Yesterday, good pitching effort again, but yesterday there was also some great hitting, okay? And Brandon Lau, Brandon Lau had been slumping of late. It had been a while since he had driven any many runs, been a while since he had hit a home run. Well, over the weekend against Boston, he batted 13 times, 7 hits, 2 homers, 5 RBIs, scored 4 runs. That 7 for 13 translates into a .538 average over the weekend. Yesterday, he was 3 for 5 with 3 runs scored, 2 homers, and 3 RBIs. A great outing for Brandon Lau and the Tampa Bay Rays, as now the Yankees and the Rays, after 64 games, have identical records. They're both 40-24, tied in the American League East for first place. The Rays actually have a better run differential than the Yankees. The Rays have a plus 96 run differential. The Yankees only plus 69. And coming up, the Yankees are going to be home for the next 2 days, beginning today against the Mets, Subway Series once again, while Tampa Bay is home against Oakland. Okay, so those two teams continue to fight it out, duke it out. So, but what about the Red Sox? Wow, it doesn't take much. If you look at Mookie Betts and you take a look at Michael Chavis, since May 28th, both Betts and Chavis are hitting under 200. That's right, both are. And with Betts under 200 scuffling, Chavis cannot hit the fastball high in the strike zone. He just cannot get up to it. And that book has been written, that book has been distributed, and that book has been read by pitchers who face Michael Chavis. And he is just not hitting like he was when he was first called up. Pitchers are catching on to him. The Red Sox are 7 games out. And, ladies and gentlemen, should the season have ended today, which it did not, but should it have ended today, the Red Sox would not be in the playoffs. They would not be. We'll talk about who might be if the season ended today in just a few moments. But they're 7 games out. They're 15-15 at home, 19-17 on the road. And Boston, they better get going, right? Okay, let's look at the American League Central. The Twins. I tell you, the beat just goes on in Minnesota. Well, let me back up a minute. Let me talk about one bright spot for the Red Sox while we're in the American League East. David Price. He had that little flu bug, what was it, on around the 25th or so of May. And since his last 3 starts, check out these numbers for David Price. Against Cleveland on the 28th, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium, where he has historically, underperformed, shall we say. Yeah, I think we should say underperformed. I think that's a good way to say it. On the 2nd of June, though, 6 1/3, 6 hits, 2 earned, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. And then on the 8th of June against Tampa Bay, which was what was that? Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned, 2 walks, and 10 strikeouts. So David Price, you can't say David Price is the reason the Red Sox aren't winning, And I don't ever want to use injuries as an excuse because the Astros and Yankees have been decimated with injuries. The Red Sox players that are there just aren't hitting. And Mookie Betts and Michael Chavis are 2 of those, okay? One more team in that division with a player I want to look at because he's just been really intriguing to me since his recall is Lourdes Gurriel Jr. for Toronto, okay? And Lourdes Gurriel, over his last 16 at-bats, he's gone 6 for 16, that's 375. He's hitting 263 on the season with 5 homers and 14 RBIs, 2 stolen bases. But remember, he went down to the minor leagues right after the season started. He was hitting under 200, grossly underperforming. They've put him back in the outfield now. He's playing left field every day. He's shortstop, second base, outfield, eligible for fantasy. And since being recalled, he's been a man on a mission. I mean, this 6 for 16... that's what we've been seeing out of him for the most part. Okay, he had a little scuffle against the Yankees last week. But other than that, Lourdes Gurriel has been a player that if he is available, and in ESPN leagues, he's only owned in about 1/3 of the leagues right now. If Lourdes Gurriel is available, he's certainly someone with those multiple positional eligibilities that I got to be getting. Okay, Mark Youngblood, great to have you with me. Look, let me tell you about Mark. And Mark, I'll be careful here. I won't say too much, okay? I'm at a minor league game Friday night near my hometown, Eastern North Carolina. The Wood Ducks are entertaining the Baltimore Oriole Class High A team, okay? And Mark and his son are coming down from Maryland on their way through North Carolina to eventually get to Florida, right? Big baseball fans. I have some seats at the game. They sat there beside me. We had great conversation, told lots of stories, experiences, shared photographs. I hope, Mark, you and your son are having a great trip, and it's great to see you in the chat room this morning. You know I'm going to talk to you a little bit, right? And so I won't tell all our stories, fair enough, but it was a great experience. And that's the thing about baseball. You know, you go to a game and you make a friend, and now we've exchanged numbers. Mark's now in the chat room. I sent him some of my old podcast to listen to. Mark, don't hold that against me. But it is great to see you in the chat room this morning. And these guys that are in there with you, I'm telling you, Zelmo and Easy Kill and Jim Ross, Mark, these guys, they know their stuff. Okay, so you'll learn a lot more from these guys in the chat room than you'll ever learn from anything I say. Okay, let's move along to the American League Central. I brought up the Twins. The Twins winning at Detroit yesterday, 12-2. They're 43-21. They have a 10.5 game lead over Cleveland, a 12 game lead over the White Sox, an 18 game lead over Detroit. But I want to take pause for a moment and talk about one of the Detroit Tiger players that I've been following of late, and he's really, since coming back up from an injury, Kristen Stewart. For fantasy purposes, I challenge you, look at Kristen Stewart. He's owned in less than 10% of most leagues, okay? He's only hitting 248 on the year with 5 homers and 22 RBIs, but it's what he's done lately. And if you can recall, going back through the season, Stewart's hitting in the 100s. And then in, late April, early May, he gets a little hot. But then he goes on the IL, misses a week or two. He's back off the IL. And over his last 24 at-bats, okay, and one of those 24 at-bats was an 0 for 4. So I'm not giving you just the best. I'm giving you all of it. Over his last 6 games, 8 for 24, a home run. He's been hot. He is hot. It's a great ad. The Tigers are off today. But if you are in need of an outfielder in fantasy baseball, you could do worse than picking up Kristen Stewart. Chappie, my man. Chappie, I want you to meet my friend Mark Youngblood in the chat room this morning. Chappie is a great friend too. We talk baseball all the time. We talk trades. And so it looks like you have picked up Kristen Stewart this morning and Delino DeShields. Great pickups this morning, Chappie. And if you have ads or questions about ads, send them on in. I love talking about stuff like that, okay? Let's move along to the ever-exciting American League West. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so now I got to brag a little bit. Every now and then you got to toot your own horn. Maybe you guys can toot it for me, but here we go. Who's been talking more about Jordan Alvarez over the last month than me? Okay, the answer is no one. All right? And so last week I said to you guys, I really believe that by the Baltimore Orioles series, Jordan Alvarez will be called up. Ta-da! Guess what? Yes. Right again. I called the Austin Riley call-up 2 days early. I predicted, I predicted this over 2 weeks ago when I was looking at the schedule. That was the time I thought Jordan Alvarez would come up and play for the Houston Astros. Well, not only did Jordan Alvarez play yesterday, he had a little bit of pop in his ball.
Here's Jordan Alvarez. Second major league at bat. That ball's smoked to center field. Broxton watches. That is gone. Up by the home run club. Second major league at bat. And it's a laser beam to left center. Jordan Alvarez. Welcome to the show.
Jordan Alvarez, welcome to the show. Actually, it's spelled Yordan. Let me go ahead and tell you, it's pronounced Jordan as in his airness, Michael Jordan. It's Jordan Alvarez. He goes 1 for 3 yesterday, 2-run homer, game-winning RBI. He smashed that baseball. I mean, telling you guys, I watched the game. I've been so excited about when he would finally get the call. He's up, he's batting. He smashes it upper deck, center field in Houston. No doubt about it. And so, way to go. I mean, great game. Houston, winners of 8 of 10. They beat Baltimore 4-0 yesterday. They're off today.